Hello everybody, my name's Idiotic Synergy, and today we're talking about the Skitarii Marshal, a unit for the AdMech, and if you're the Archon of Flesh, you've probably already wanked off to him, if I'm being fair. The Archon of Flesh really likes his Skitarii. And after learning more about the Archon of Flesh, I'm scared to talk about AdMech without him peering over and salivating, because the Archon really loves his AdMech. He basically wants to get railed by robots is his whole thing, but it's just weird, isn't it? Despite him being weird, he's quite cool. His artwork's quite nice, in a sadistic sort of way, and his fanfiction is quite good in a psychotic sort of way, so there's that. I mean, it's not badly written, it's just bloody disturbing. Anyway, now that I've talked about the Archon of Flesh, this is the Skitarii Marshal, also known as the Archon's Wet Dream. So, Skitarii Marshal, it's quite simple in design. There is nothing... I mean, it's quite nicely painted. I like the paint scheme. I also like his little coat he has, or cloak, I should say, not a coat. Could be a coat, could be a cloak, who knows. But I like how simplistic his design is. It's not like some over-the-top bombastic design. He's just a Skitarii that's obviously been slightly modified to be, you know, more senior or like more superior, I should say, not senior. Though to be fair, his helmet looks really cool. His helmet does remind me of like the Ultramarines helmet, you know, the ones with the massive reef, not reef. It's not a reef. The thing on top of their heads that if you turn them upside down, they could be used as brooms. I don't know what it's called, but I do like his helmet. I also like the intricate designs, but I know how easy Skitarii are to paint. Spray paint them silver, pick out bits of detail and contrast, and boom, job done. I also like the fact he hasn't just got one melee weapon, but two. He's got a massive sword and a booping stick. For booping people. Also, tactical rock is tactical. Another thing I like about this model is the rather nice servo skull he has. I'm kind of wondering what that one's for. Maybe it's like a signal boost or something, but it just seems like he's got too many cameras. I mean, look, there's camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and then camera 4. He's just covered in cameras. But I do like the Skitarii Marshal. He's quite cool. Also, his pistol's really nice. But then again, I think, in my personal opinion, AdMech have got the best guns in the entire game. Just from like an aesthetic point of view, they're really nice. I really like the revolvers they have. I mean, this is his pistol. It's like a really weird revolver. I like it. I like the Skitarii. I like Skitarii weapons. They're really nice. Also, his backpack is quite cool. It's simple design, but stands out quite well. Also, I'm pretty sure with a few modifications, like with kit bashing and everything, you could probably turn this character into a Destroying Firstborn. I don't know how you would go around doing that, but I could see myself turning this character into a Destroying Firstborn just because of just because I like the helm here. I really like the jacket or coat or cloak, depending how you see it. That's quite cool. I like the bionic arms he has. There's lots of stuff here that I could see myself kit bashing to make it more guardsman-like, and a good model should always tell a story, and this one does. He means business, and yeah, if you're the Archon of Flesh, you really like him for all the wrong reasons. But hey, I'm not here to judge much. Oh, by the way, you have to be 12 to buy this, otherwise Games Workshop kicks down your door and shoots you. I mean, I understand the age rating, but 12? That seems a bit high, if I'm being honest, because it's literally just a metal man with a gun. It's not It's not like a Night Lord with flesh attached to him. It's literally just a metal beep boop man in it with a cloak standing on a rock. Why is it rated a 12? I don't know. But then again, here's another point. Has Games Workshop ever denied somebody service because of their age? That's the point. I don't think I've ever gone to a hobby shop and brought a box and I was denied service because of my age. It's like, how old are you? I'm 9. Ah, sorry mate, can't sell it to you. Unless, you know, you live in a really weird, near, or you live near, not in. You live near a Games Workshop, you live in a Games Workshop. You live under the floorboards, where you can just hear all the rituals. Anyway, he has got rules, and you know what time it is? It's time to look at said rules. And, yeah, there's nothing more I can say. It's a decent model. I can see why people like it. But Archon of Flesh terrifies me. So, rules, quickly, before he appears from the walls. So, these are the rules for the Skitarii Marshal, and I don't really like the rules. I mean, he's alright, he's only 50 points, but my god, it's a bit disappointing. Where should I begin? Let's start with his stats, because his stats are always a good place to start. Movement 6. Weapon skill 3, not even 2. He's a Skitarii Marshal, yet his weapon skill is the same as a Space Marine. Yeah. Ballistic skill 2. Strength 3, toughness 3. Oh god. Sorry. The reason I went oh god is because I thought he would be tougher. He's the Skitarii Marshal. I thought he would be tougher or stronger than a regular guardsman. Anyway, wounds 4, again quite low for a HQ. 3 attacks, because why give him more? It isn't like he's got a sword or anything. And right, we're going to get into why I hate this model in a minute, rules-wise. I love the model, but I hate his rules. Leadership 8, save of a 4. His stats aren't the best. Right, let's go into why I don't really like his rules. Because he's got his pistol, rules for his pistol. It's not a pistol though, it's an Assault 1 weapon. Yeah, that's great. Assault 1, baby, meaning that if you get charged and you want to use your pistol in engagement range, you can't because it's not a pistol. It's an assault weapon. 18 inches, strength 3, no AP, damage 1. If you roll a 6 though, it automatically wounds the target, but there's no AP, so and his melee weapon, the one good thing I like about this character is this melee weapon. His abilities are quite cool, but I like his melee weapon. The control staff is strength plus 3, making him strength 6, which is quite good, making you tougher than a fucking plague marine, or stronger than a plague marine. AP minus 2, damage 1. Now, you might notice there's a third weapon missing here, and you would be right, it's his sword. Why doesn't he have his sword? It's modelled on the model, so why can't we use the sword? I don't get it, and I really hate that. It's like Cypher all over again, where you get the pistols, but you can't use the big old sword that he carries. At least with Cypher, it makes sense because it's the lion's sword or some bollocks. With this, it's literally just you can't use the sword. I don't understand why you can't use the sword. Maybe if they gave you the option of giving this character a sword and holstered the other weapon. So, for example, you can replace the Radium Serpina with a sword, or you can replace the control staff with a sword. Any weapon that you replace with the sword holsters, and that would be kind of cool, because then you could have a Skitarii Ranger with a pistol and sword, or a Skitarii, not a Skitarii Ranger, a Skitarii Marshal with a control staff and his sword. That would be quite cool. However, you can't bring his sword, even though it's modelled on the model, and I really hate that, because it just limits your choice. And it seems redundant to add something that's already quite finicky to the model. I just hate that. Just give us the options. More options means more player freedom. That, and not allowing people to use the sword is really weird, and I don't like that. Let people use the sword. But that being said, the control stuff is very nice. His abilities, I think his abilities aren't exactly the best, however, I do like Control Edict. Basically, if you have one Skitarii unit within 9 inches of this model, and if Archon of Flesh is in charge, then they're going to be a lot closer than 9 inches. Oh, stupid joke. Anyway, so, Skitarii unit within 9 inches of this model, or you can select one friendly Skitarii data tether unit anywhere on the battlefield, which is, again, quite nice. And once you do that, until the start of your next command phase, that unit ignores the deprecation effect of the currently active Doctrinaire Imperative. Basically, these doctrines have a bonus and a negative side to them. So, for example, you can use this one where it improves the ballistic skill characteristic of models in this unit by 1, but reduces the weapon skill characteristic of models in this unit by 1, and vice versa. It improves weapon skill by 1, but decreases ballistic skill by 1. Or you have one where you're more bulkier, your save is better, but you're slower, and vice versa, where your movement is improved by 3, meaning that if you've got some really fast units, they just zoom in instantly, but you reduce the save characteristic of models in this unit by 1. So there's a risk-reward thing, and with this Marshal, you basically remove the risk. So it's quite useful in that sense. The Servo Skull uplink, while a friendly Forge World Skitarii core unit is within 6 inches of this model, reroll wound rolls of 1. Very good, it's like a lieutenant, it's very nice to have. And Enhanced Bionics, this model has a 5-up Invon save. That's it. I like the model. The model's great. I don't like the rules. I think if I was in charge of the rules, I would allow you to use the sword. I would give him one more attack. You can use the sword or the staff. Now the staff would be slightly weaker, but you get an additional 1 hit, or you can just use the sword. So it'd be like the Eversaw Assassin's claws, where it's only AP -1, damage 1, or you can use his power sword, which is AP -3, damage 1, but the upside of using the claws for the Eversaw Assassin is that you do more attacks. I would make it like that because I like having options, and also it would allow people to kit bash the Skitarii Marshal more easily. And a good model should always tell a story, but a good model should also allow itself to be kit bashed quite nicely. Because, I say allow itself like the model's alive, but basically, if you're in charge of designing a model, it's always a good idea to let that model have leniency when it comes to kit bashing, because sometimes that's sort of the best thing for it, in my opinion. I think that's a better way to design models if you allow people to kit bash, and in Warhammer, certainly, kit bashing is just, a natural progression of things. So, yeah, I would certainly allow, I would want to give this kit the option to have the sword out, and then you can use the sword. Or, remove the pistol and have like 2 weapons out, which gives you an additional 2 attacks. I don't know. But yeah, I just don't like the fact he's got a sword and it's not, you can't use it in game. I would kind of like to have seen the Skitarii Marshal with a sword. That would be an awesome model, to be fair. That would be really cool. A Skitarii Marshal with like the control staff and his sword. That would be such a cool model. But yeah, I don't know. I would just try and improve I would just allow you to use the sword in game, and I think I would put weapon skill down to 2 because his weapon skill should be 2. He's like a lieutenant, and maybe give him one more wound. Other than that, he's fine. I like Control Edict. His abilities are very nice, but I just want him to have more variation. That's it. Anyway, I've been Idiotic Synergy, and I will see you later. Thanks for listening to me, and see you later. Bye for now, and look after each other.